Hello, good evening. It's nearly good morning, but there we go. Man's been out cruising East Midlands, picking up our kid. Duties have been performed. Dad's taxi is back. 23rd of Feb on the cusp. 10 minutes will be in the 24th of Feb. So good day, good rising, good evening. We've got a little special midnight hangout to have. I don't think Kevin's out playing. I think it's too late for him. I think he's asleep on the sofa, sucking his thumb. Rumours are. So it might just be yours truly solo, which might be all right for the pathway of which I've got given the title. And if you haven't looked at the description, can you have a look at the description and read through that? We're going to go through, yeah, an hour or two of law. What is law in my depiction of law, interpretation, usage, application, construct, um, studies, discovery. Could do with Smithy on another hangout actually, because of his unique way of looking at stuff and interpretations, King James, etc. Just right and proper. It is nearly midnight. Wow, these days are long. It's been a long day, to be fair. First day off of rest to do stuff that I need to do, and yeah, it's been good. I hope you're all good and blessed. We will talk about whatever you want to talk about. I'm not going to lead it all, so if Kev's allowed to come out and play and is in the chat room, I will invite him in. He can have a chat. I was just playing. There are no rumours. So yeah, let me just load up the other one and I'll see who's on. If you have served notice on an academy, trust, principal, um, I'd like to hear from you. If you have had any interaction with your school, we'll call them schools, academies, same difference. Let me know if you've had any interaction, if you've had any need to go in there, any meetings, if anything's gone down which you didn't agree with, got called in, things like that. So we've got Mark, Nonna, Jerry, Boots, Garson. All right then, there's a new scriber. Hello, thank you, Nonna. Top of the mornings to you, Jerry, as well. Mark, yes. It never happened. Hey, um, it never happened. They're saying it's going to be nice next week, so you can. Sister Lisa swagged over from the greatest snow machine. Andrew, fly. Easy. Thank you very much, Nana. I've seen that. Yeah, I'm just catching up now. Celine, Ian, moon looks beautiful. I'm looking at the now. I'm ready to zone. Oh yeah. What does that mean to this to me or to something else? Is that just your mood? Zoning on the moon. Lev Kung Fu, Shaolin Master. Yes, Master. M.A. Mother Star. Star. Mother Star. Lev Kung Fu Shaolin Master. Arigato. Sorry, brother. Interfaith Vegan Alliance. I'm gonna have to start calling you IVA if that's all right. Like MG. Lev was normally Lev. I don't normally go the full way with the shebang there. Grace Simon 78. Anyone heard of someone getting hold of their original birth certificate? I can see that I can get behind things more. Anyone ever heard of someone getting hold of their original? Sorry, I thought it said held. The originals, yeah, you have originals, but they're the debtors. You got the certificate of birth and the birth certificate. So we currently have an identity crisis going off right now, as me and Smithy and the Famalan and you scribers are seeing it there. So the identity crisis is we're only just realizing that we have instrumentation. We're not the Mr. and Mrs. So, hmm. Next is sign of nature, signing, date of birth, surname. That's a clue in that bit there. The surname, the title, um, afforded liability in general that we assume is us. So if you're getting hold of the original birth certificate, I presume you're on about the other one, the creditors one, the certificate of birth and the birth certificate. Certificate of birth is created upon the birthing point, so I am told and led to through my studies, and connections with others in the trade. And then when they ask at the point of birth, when the man's born from the womb of his mother and is crowned by his mother or her mother, they would ask for the name. And if there is no Christian name, think about it. If you've got a name there, a Christian name, but it's a club of Rome, and you need a Christian name to be in that club. You have a given name or a calling as well. If you're not in a club of Rome and you don't have a Christian name, you have a given name or a name commonly known by or a calling. So no, I don't have a Christian name. No, thank you. But if you was in the faith of, then you would indeed. If you was in that doctrine. So there, that's your certificate of birth. And then upon the point several weeks later of the registration date, when you go for the to the bondsman and the general registry office and you register the product and you inform that there has been an event and blah blah blah, claim of right, etc. Handed over, registry in the book. There's an entry in the book there. You get a certificate of registration. Now, Regis, Regina, Rejina. Go and look at the word, the etymology, the origins, the derivatives, the purpose, and the meaning of Regina. Sounds rather like vagina. Very similar indeed. Um, Soldier, take off ER. You've got a soldi, SOLDI. Look at the Italian Latin, Italian for that word, a soldier, a soldi, SOLDI, VAGI, Regina, REGINA, and VAGINA. So then, like in this language that Josh is pointing out even more to me with the ION, ATION, at the ends, and you've got these other ones now, an INIINA, with the Italiano Latin, um, old style. See, so yeah, when you're on about certificates, it's not so much, yeah, the certificates are important, but you got thumbprints and an autograph, and you know your status, standing, and capacity, you'll go a long way. It isn't the be all or end all of it, you know, if to some extent yeah, we are in a crisis, and it does help to have the supporting paperwork. But you know, it's not a big deal. None of us are walking dead now. We've snapped out of it, and we are as alive and kicking as a kicking mule in a field. You know, that's being very kicky. We're very alive and kicking. Yes. Our instrumentation is the corpse, the corporation. So the Catholic Church, the Christian, even we'll go Christian now. Christianity is a corporation as well. It's a corpse. All right, corpus. You have a corpus. If you see the picture of Christ in clothing, that's the Christ risen, Christ on the cross. What else? The infant of Prague. Search the infant of Prague. Look at also in the description. I've put sees in there. I'm doing the sees at the minute. The current sees, the papal sees, the diocese, the archdiocese. It's very interesting the Admiralty water correlation to what we've got in the law realm and how they've superseded it and by what and whom and you know, the years that I've put down in that description there when Christianity became legal. What exactly? What are they doing here? You know, the history is proper. You know, we've got some bits to show you, like some poignant bits in history, some important areas of which manuscripts and man have busted some moves, it seems, and technicalities have been put into place. So, yeah, property. The government is not involved when a man and a woman makes a child, you know, in the legal realm, and a son and a daughter in the lawful realm. Yes, they call it a child, and they get their hooks into it. But to get their hooks into it, they use language and instruments, yeah, and by consent. So even though we don't know, we've consented unbeknowing. So ignorance is no defense. It's their system. They've set it up for us to, as we've said, to use an interface with. So you set up a hospital, you set up a registry office, and you set up a central clearing bank. You've pretty much got it locked down how it goes in here. So mum and dad create son and daughter. That's it. That's all in a private capacity, a private realm. That's the asset created, a real asset to you. That, your daughter, your son will be an asset to you. They are an asset to you in the lawful realm. Now, when we go into the legal realm is something which makes things that are unlawful legal, but it's not really lawful. It's legal, but it's not lawful. So if you substitute one for the other, you're substituting a higher for a lesser. It's like that saying, "Oh, what's up with you, kid? You look like you've lost a pound and found a penny." That's exactly what you're doing when you go from law to legal. Uh, Unless, I don't know, there are benefits to it, and there are. It's not that but I can't see any benefits to it at all, unless you was a business entrepreneur, somebody like in the government, someone in a mini star position, someone in a commercial position would benefit from legal. Legal is like business. Business is like a way to basically rob man blind, but get away with it. I'm not mentioning legal manslaughter. I'm just saying that business in itself is a way to get one over on your fellow man and make some money out of him. If you're not making money, then you wouldn't be there. You wouldn't be in it, would you, for long? So, I'll go to your comments. I'll see what's going down and what's being said. I'm not going to rush this. I want to take it slow and steady. And if you have got any questions, I want to capture them in the moments. If my audio is weird, let me know. We got new headphones on the go. Good Lord. All right. Hello to the 28. Hope you've had a good Saturn day. The benefit is theirs in their realm. Yes, Jerry, it is. The benefit is there. That's why we have a person, and the person can afford to be afforded the benefits. The benefits are forfeits, fines, and fees. Yes. All right. What is law, though? And my question to you is then we'll do a question and answer. What is law? What to you, what is law? To all of you, what is law? How would you, if someone came from another, dimension and you had to explain where you lived and you was trying to socially explain how we all get along, yeah, we have laws. We have the common law, we have the contract law, and ecclesiastical, UCC, admiralty, maritime. So, law of the air, law of the land, law of the water. I'd argue that if we were subterranean at any point, anywhere in the realm, then we'd have a law for underground, and if they're doing stuff right now underground, then they will have another separate law for the underground realm. The UCC laws are said to stretch out all across the realm from the three obelisks and, in between and into the seas of space. So unified commercial codes, they reckon, stretch out even through the seas of space. So what is law, family? What is law? How is law enforced? How does law affect you? Is law fair? The ones that make the law, do they follow it? Things like this, please. I'd like your own into. If you had to summarize, what law is, then yeah, that's what I'm looking for, please. I'm just going through the comments. And as I said that, I see Lev saying hi comment. Synchronicity. Have you looked into C60 Shungite rabbit hole? Stop it. We're doing a question and answer a minute, but not Shungite. So, um, 3,000 subscribers, so I'm happy with that. Thank you to the recent new ones that have found me and Andy Kev, the channel. It's not so much about me, it's about the family effort here. So thank you very much. I am honoured and chuffed. The only ones who benefit from legal are lawyers. Indeed, yes, and they've got sworn, they've got an oath to the crown, and they're allowed to damage the crown. They're in the law society. The judges are in the law society. The barristers are in the Law Society, the duty solicitors are in the Law Society, a lot of the affiliates are in the Law Society, the Law Society is in the Law Society. They live at 113 Chancery Lane, London. I haven't checked that address since I found it published the other week, but I believe it's on Chancery Lane. Boots Garson, where is the best place to start? What are you looking to learn? I don't need to know that. You've asked me a question. I'll answer that because I've got an answer I think is the right one without knowing where, yeah, what area. You need to know whom you are and how to affect your person. So the Human Rights Act will say that every human is afforded the rights to a person. Your person is your way out. Your person is your escape. Your person is your remedy. Your person is your instrument. Your person is your conveyance. Your person is not you. So knowing whom you are, you do not have a date of birth. I assure you, you was born for one. So therefore, products are birthed, and the birth date is upon the registration date when the mum and dad go to the office, not actually at the hospital when they ask for the Christian name to assign to the family name and create the certificate of birth. When you go for the registration several weeks later, a few weeks old, yes, in your first year after being born, your parents then, mum and dad, parents legally, go and give over the claim of right. And this is what happens here. They have what's called the allodial title. In 1913, roughly, approximately, allodial titles and property ownership, land ownership changed a little bit in 1913. It had to do with political movements that were going off in other areas. And so what they did is they introduced the mortgage, the death pledge, as I know it as, and deeds rather than allodial title and other titles. So just bear that in mind. There's a pin there to put somewhere. Back to registration titles and claim of right and bondsman. On the day that you are doing the registration, that is the day, the date where you are at the office of the General Register, the bondsman, and as a baby of several weeks old, possibly several months, you are then your parents giving the information, and they are informing that the product and the conception has happened, and that they are no longer able to look after you in essence, and the state are going to take over the administration. This is your diocese and your arch monarch, anarchy, yes, archons, arch diocese, and yes, these are like the administrators in a realm, and that ties in with how the CQV bonding of 1666, subsequently after Boniface's and the Unum Sanctum 1302, the Attorney Regis and Convocation, and the three trusts that we've shown you that have been set up with the three crowns. Yes, we're being pledged to one of the crowns there, all right, the crown. If you look at the new Robin Hood film that they've just released, there's a very interesting section in there about the crown. Let me tell you. And in one bit, what is he now? He was of the clergy. I forget his character name and whatever. He says something about Locksley. Locksley's vote needs to be counted to the sheriff of Nottingham, and the sheriff says Locksley's dead. He died in the battle. And he says, no, he's been seen. And he says, how do you know he's been seen? Who's seen him? That's the sheriff asking the clergyman. And he says, well, um, the seal of confession is sacred. And he says, sheriff reckons that it's the clergyman that's seen him. He says, I can't tell you who's seen what and where because the seal of the confession is sacred. Very interesting point of note there. That film, it's got some nice connotations. It's also got a black man in it. Okay, a dark-skinned brother. As I'm now going to start to, as scribers have been renamed, dark-skinned brother in there, and he says a word to Locksley at one point. It's quite a nice scripted. It's a load of tosh and bullshit as always, but it's a nice interpretation on it. Um, this black African type dude says he's speaking Arabic because he says inshallah, 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 God willing. I'm like, what? What's going on here? This is not like your typical maid Marian's in it, maid, not a mermaid, but just a maid. Very interesting. I don't know whether they're trying to incite or other But let me tell you this as well. On the synopsis, yeah, it says this, a very, very, very interesting word came out. Robin Hood 2018 action adventure thriller, a war-hardened crusader. We've got the crusade from America that we've just started to link up with as it happens, talking about crusades. But a war-hardened crusader and his Moorish, 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 okay, crusader and his Moorish commander mount an audacious revolt against the corrupt English crown in a thrilling action adventure packed with gritty battlefield exploits, mind-blowing fight choreography, and a timeless romance. All right, so that's the remake of Robin Hood that's come out recently. Thank you to Showbox for providing that little beauty for free. Those of you that know that, then you know what I'm on with. And yeah, I've just reviewed it. I'm interested in what they are putting out there, how they're putting out there, what languages to hear. Inshallah. I say sometimes to the tenants, Mashallah, Inshallah, God willing, all will be good. So Inshallah, God willing, Mashallah. I first heard that on Four Lions, to be fair. But yeah, crowns. Okay, I've gone from crowns to all of that. Back on track. Okay, the crowns and the pledges to the crowns. And yeah, in that film, Robin Hood, it does actually mention about the crowns. And for those of you that are a bit deeper and forward on, I'd look at the Spanish Inquisition. And if you're on the .com, look at some of the posts that I've put on my profile about the diocese and the archdiocese. And yeah, I'm going to go and look into the Spanish Inquisition and the bull. The bull, I know it relates to Taurus and a toroidal, all is atum, bull papils, gold bull on, fort ox, knox, sorry, not ox, but it's close enough. And the bulls in itself, well, Spania in itself, and the bull history, the matador, and yeah, bulls, horns, goats, demons, Baphomet, language in itself. I've been talking to Josh quite a bit about keys and codes and certain bits and bobs. So, I've got a lot more to bring forward and to expand upon. But property and rights and law, it seems that yeah, we have got corporations masquerading around. Is they even saying Robin Hood, one of the red cardinals that's there, looks a bit demonic and that. He's making deals and stuff. They are actually pushing certain bits of truth out there. It's quite refreshing to see a cardinal speaking to a village man, saying, what's going down and how it will be, and how they will crush and tax the subjects of the sheriff of Nottingham. Sheriff, that word in itself, sharifa. We look at the etymology and the implied meaning behind that. Subject, yes. Who is a subject? You're subject to what? You're subjected to. Well, there's no consent there, is there? Yeah. When you've got a monarchy and you've got, this is the thing, when you've got a monarchy and you've got a royal family, there's a certain chain of command there, but they're also, as Sovereign Smith has pointed out previous, and I have, we've got the linkage between the Father now, the Creator. So you have Lord, and then you have God. So Lord would be the first part, and God would be the second part. You've got a Creator as well. Yeah, so we've got the Creator, and then we've got the Lord God. And the Lord God kind of, it depends which one of them that you use, grantor of dominion. Okay, Lord is always in the capitalized form. I've noticed that. You hardly ever see it lowercase, just a little point of reference there. Spend, look in the good book and see how it's depicted. For instance, always capital. I think you're fine. Hebrew is Elohim, and that means gods, not God. Yeah, that's the original text where it was where this has been manuscripted from that manuscript. And then we've got the covenants of Abraham, Mount Sinai, 40 days, 40 nights, and the covering the stones which were kept, I believe, in the Ark of the Covenant. And you've got the bits that Santos has brought us about Jesus. And oh, Jesus is going to be in a big white cloud. Look, he's over there. I love that bit of his video where he says that. It made me absolutely pissed. I had to rewind it. I'm like, do that again, my man. Jesus. Oh, he's going to be saving us. He's coming down, look, now in a big white fluffy cloud. Proper gangster Santos. Oh my days. This is probably about 20 years ago, 15 years ago when he made that. But Jesus, yes. I love how he says it. It is rather excellent. But he sees and he knows the coding, the messaging, the event, not trying to sway anybody else. It's all down to your own interpretations and your own, due diligence and that. But he goes on about the certain factions it was about in the years of and how identities have moved and laws and concepts to do like astro theology. Astro is hidden in a lot of the words now. I had a good example, but it's actually gone from me in the master, let me think, minister, minister, Westminster, and there are correlations. You'll find them in the .com once I've updated. I'm going to put the important ones on. I've put a link in the forum, all things Santos, and I'm putting relevant videos that I like to watch about Rome, Carthage, Italy, Alexander, Phoenicians coming over, the Jesuits, and the actual, amalgamation with, and then the actual banking elite with the monarchies. Monarchies, gods have drifted again a bit, but gods, monarchies are the link with the higher natural source. You would say the monarchy, the royal family, the kingship. All right, we have a kingship of our own if we are created in his image and we are sovereign, self-governing, as created as in the image of. We would then argue that we would have some kind of kingship, godship, lordship, fellowship, friendship, citizenship. You get me, you see? So all of these ships are what? They're not our language. They're not Anglo. They're not Italian. They're not Latin. Some kind of legalese, Venetian, Phoenician master language. All right. There's a master language hidden within, and it's how are we all speaking now in this common tongue. So as Josh is out, point out some extra little cherries on the cake for me, which are going to help me correlate it over to you transferred from what Josh has got on his own. So it comes from Josh, and Josh has got his own way of looking at it. And I put it with the way that I do things and correlate it and check it and see if Josh is even remotely on the right lines with the correlation of the alphanumerical, the gematria, the phonics, the etymology, the Latin, the English, the Nubian, the Sumerian, Babylonian, Akkad, coming back round to the Tesla tech, quantum, subatomic, 0.369. Mother, we're all right, aren't we, for a Saturday night at midnight? We're not messing around now. The gloves are off. I'm flying solo and I'm giving it to you straight. So, yes, then Josh comes on about the T being the physical, the C being the Trinity, and this, that, the other, the S being the sine wave. Now, I'm hearing that. I've never heard that before, and I can tie that in because now, after having to hang out with Santos and hearing about the clues left in such words as mortgage, settlement, settlor would be the settlor that would be providing and performing the settlement. Charges, you are being charged, discharging, charging, transfer, endorsement, bills, statements, and yeah, these we can definitely say now that we are definitely getting the cherries on the cake. So what bits we didn't have, we are filling in rather rapidly. So what we are finding is that you are having problems with identity, not only with yourselves, but when you need to talk to such places as a school, academy, trust, and if you've got sons and daughters that are subject to extra need requirement, and you think that and you believe that because of the way things are, that perhaps they do need to get out and have some social interaction with others, social care, and get out for a bit, and your offspring might need extra special care. You might have a care plan. I'm finding out that they have statements given to them annually of what the academies, trusts, and schools will do. Special needs schools and the normal as well. Obviously, I've got experience with the norm. When I say normal, able-bodied will say, "Listen, it's midnight and I'm tired, so just I'm at ease. Yeah, don't hold me to each word." And if I say something, it's only cognitive dissonance that will go, I've said it, and I'll correct it as soon as I realise. So these ones with extra social need requirements might have afflictions such as if you give him a little tap, they will get really badly bruised. There are ones that could be afflicted with a cut, like a haemophiliac, special requirements, less abled brother and sister, daughter, their son. And if they get cut, then they're not likely to coagulate and stop bleeding. So that in itself, knocking off a scab unsupervised, yeah, could cause a big problem. So we find out of some of the consultations that we're having provided to our family in the private that, yeah, I'll be careful here because I'm not going to release anything, but I can generalize that we're being asked how we can unreserve the rights that the trusts and the academies have currently taken with normal able-bodied and less able-bodied um, sons and daughters, assets as we would call them. We're not being foreign when we say assets. They actually are assets in the realm of the equitable comparison. Um, and Andy come out with a good one the other day when we was chatting, saying that to highlight to a lady that the school, they are trustees because they are entrusted with the possession and duty of care to the property whilst they are there for the 7, 8 hours of the duration of the indoctrination and the care duties. So they're in play. You have dropped off your property to them that they are legally responsible for, but also lawfully responsible for. But the way they get around their lawful obligations is to wrap it in the legal realm. So we've got the legal going first place default, and the legal realm. When I say to you, what is law, and how do you see it, and how does it affect you? How do you use it? How does it come into your life? How does it govern you? How do you use it to protect you? Do you use notices? Do you, use sign language? Do you read sign language? Do you have any stories to tell? Have you been on the receiving end of anything? Have you been mace sprayed, incarcerated, locked up, the victim of? Have you been a victim and then been attacked yourself by the establishment? And a bit like when a woman cries rape and goes to court, the judge kind of makes out it's the woman's fault. She kind of asked for it. What were you doing getting drunk, leaving yourself undefended? Well, you kind of brought it on yourself by getting too drunk. I've seen and heard shit that I'm like, what? This woman's gone to court to get justice, and she's being made out to be the one that's done the wrong. Hang on, there's a man there that's clearly raped her. Why are you being so harsh? So we have this system, and it's set up as such. Andy has also come out with some other excellent commentary on these. In Greek, we call them not nice. We call well, I won't say actually. There's no need to go that far. But Andy's called them self-appointed authoritarians or authoritarianism. I struggle with that. I'm glad I got it out in one. I won't try and say that word too much, but yes, they don't have they get it by the signature, the sign of nature on the legal paperwork. But if you've signed it as the all caps Mr. and Mrs., you've signed it unbeknowing, and then these agreements are all null and void. When you find out your true status and whom thy is and all about it, then you would be able to go in and correct these because these trust relationships, back to the GRO and the registration, mum and dad, baby. The title, the allodial title, as I said about 1913 and mortgages and deeds coming into play, the title goes from allodial as the mum and dad to which is the top settlor king position in the triangle. And then when you go to register, you move over from the trust triangle top king position and allodial settlor position. And when you've signed, you go to legal trustee. And you are now legally responsible for the maintenance and the upkeep of that flesh and blood baby. And in 7 years, the CQV will see to it that if the one named there, the one that you've informed, yes, you're handing over the title of to the estate to look after, whilst it's now claimed, it's now presumed the corporate body is lost, dead at sea. And in the seas of commerce, there's a citizenship out there, all right, and you just put the baby on the citizenship by getting that registration. So is the registration is the entrance to the citizenship. That's a ticket you need to get on the citizenship. Let me put it like that. Mhm. It's not the citizenship itself, it's the commerce and the conveyance and the instrumentation. It can accept and it can charge. It can go both ways, this. It's not just a one-way thing. So that's that's what how we would explain it. So the claim of right is the CQV of 1666 is ineffective, and then you've got 7 years to correct that new trust setup. So the title of mum and dad, creator, settlor, allodial title of son or daughter has now been pushed over to legal title, not possessory title. Yeah, and that's what you've got. You've got a title to possess and you're entrusted. The property is now the property of the state. Hear that, all right? It is actually the property of the state. It's classified legally because you've gone through a legal process with the general registrar, which is a bondsman. Now, when you get that certificate, what does it have when you hold it up to the light? It has a watermark through it. Now, that's evidence of one of the C's, the Francis the CC, the papal C's, the current C's, the capacity, not the capacities, no, you can say the capacities, but the electricity is what it is. The watermark denotes the electric, the currency through the water. When you look at a river, when you look at a swimming pool, you see the pattern, you see the current, you see the movement, you see the flow, the cash flow, the currency. When you want cash, you go to a bank, you go to the bank to get the money. You go to the bank, they hold the water in. So just like in nature. Yeah, so the titles are swapped. So you go from a allodial title of the property, which is meaning you're the highest in law and nobody can touch you, and you register it. And once you do the registrat, and now that's one that you split up, Registration, and you've got the at iron at the end. Yeah, so chop the at iron up. You've got the Stra, and you've got RA in there. This is an interesting one. REGI, Reggie, S, and you've got the sine wave, and you've got the T, which is the physical. Yes, X man. See what I mean when we get together? STRA, yeah, a T again, more physical. ION. So very, very deep. And they're done. It's done by this. All these words are done in a code. This is what we're finding out. And once you've learned the core structure to the architect's design, looking at a word, Bosch, origin, derivative, original, etymology, function, legal, lawful, ecclesiastical, business, commercial, instrumentational. Wow, you know what I mean? So yeah, you need to hear this, and you need to cognize what we're actually saying about the principality of the titles being moved over. You keep hold of the baby, but now in the legal realm, you've gone from being owner to trustee. And if you're not doing as you're told, as the duties given to you by your government now, who have Andy's going to be an expert in all of this, bringing out the husbandry role, yes, the wedlock and husbandry and marriage in itself and Bibles and the nanny state. Not nice to say. We're not proud of it. And this isn't cricket. This isn't British. This isn't our rules. And this isn't going to be continuing. You are not going to trade souls with birth certificates. No. And we have woken up to that fact. We are not dead. The corporation and the instrumentation is dead. And we have been assumed as that, which is a dead corporate um, state owned name. So, Sovereign Jeremita Jeremita is the family name, it's the clan name, it's the tribe name. It's not a state owned name, but the capitalized version of Jeremita is a copy of my family clan, and tribe. It's the all capital, Capitus Dominica or something, I believe. The Latin is for it. And yes, the Capita Dominica is the coming from Ross Romilly now and the Glosser and dogma and the corruption, the hyphenated ancient Latin and so forth that's come out of the Oxford styles manual that we linked across from them saying about the Chicago styles manual and sign language. So we have got the articulate references. It's like, what styles manual did you use to write that notice, please? You know, can you tell me what style is that letter written in? Because if it isn't a style that man understands, then why are you giving it to me? Do you know, why are you giving it to me with corruptions and we expecting, yeah, you know, these things to be understood when we are all handicapped legally, when none of us are in the law society. So we employ the law society to help us navigate the law society, right? So we employ one of them to help us navigate in their own society claims that are made through their society against a person that they've made for their society. Yeah. And we know none of this and we believe it's us all that time. So the fact that we have been misled and deceived upon the to the level of we don't know that civil and criminal are two separate, massive jurisdictions. If anything is civil, it doesn't require a massive amount of concern. It doesn't require a massive. It doesn't require the officers or the constables. It doesn't require any kind of court. It does require a court. Hold that up. It does require a court, but not a massive amount. It can be done in paperwork. And these courts, civil, yes, higher courts do the civil, not just the district and the magistrate, the de facto. Yes, you can do things in the correct way because you do it in persona and with equity, and that's how you'd ensure your safety. So yeah, it's very interesting that this legal civil realm, you know, is man. Example, no man should be locked up for owing any debt. So why have we got man locked up in prison for owing fiscal amounts on local government taxes for one, for PCNs, infractions, tax, not paying the local government business tax rates, getting into arrears with the sheriff of Nottingham, yes, and finding your ass in a little warehousing unit where they can charge you quite handsomely, just like they use the certificate, the national insurance number, and the date of birth to warehouse you in them prisons and charge you and create the contracts, and you agree to it and sign to it, or your legal representative for that name will in the law society, and they will make a contract and you'll agree to it because they'll see to it and you go down to it because your party has signed on your behalf when they make the plea bargain. So much like the ones in the academies at the schools, when they are looking to fulfill their budgets, they see the certification and the authority and the consent and they draw upon it. So where we see the budget, and I was on about how much on a national average each academy is about £200 short per student across 1,000, 10,000 students, it all adds up. Teachers' salaries are taking up allegedly 90% of the budgets, leaving 10%. Being 15% short on your overall grant is going to make you -5%. You haven't even started yet. The academies are needing money, but then they've got a certification and these we called them, they were previously known as treasury routing numbers, but these IRS inland revenue, what's that? Did you say inland? Yeah, the boat people, they're inland and they're managing revenue services. Treasury Department, the boat people's way of calling profits and gold. Yes, Treasury, and the inland revenue managing all these taxes and you know claiming that you've got to be paid and who should be paying taxes. Well, not an honourable nobleman, I know that much. Somebody like a military combatant out there committing commercial intercourse in all's fair in love and war, the art of war. You know, are we still at I can never say that word. The the recuser. Are we still at war every time at Houses of Parliament? So the Club of Rome, the Bulls, the Spaniards, the language, the Law Society, monarchy, the Jesuits. Yeah, it's all there to see. Um, Identity and money and commerce. It's all business, as we've said. There's no emotion there. You know, it's not like the establishment has a heart. The ones that are operating as agents have a heart, but they're powerless to do anything because as officers, constables, high court appointed sheriffs, debt collectors, bailiffs, insolvency firms, and etc. They're doing the job. They're just doing the job. They've got mortgages to pay. They've got a death pledge they've put in, and their sweat equity is going to make sure that their death pledge gets in. They haven't transferred by endorsement and realised that they're the creditor, settlor, creator, as king. They are the surety and the principal for the credit and debt. If we hadn't been born, they couldn't have made a birth certificate. They couldn't have made a birth certificate. They couldn't have got it bonded, put it on the stock market, and sold it off and invested it and had us on different continents simultaneously, whilst being on the original indigenous landmass that your mother born you to. So, without us being present in this realm here now, they wouldn't have made these, profits that they have. So, you have got a kickback to come, and anybody that's effectively done anything, I would like to know in the realm of the academies and trusts, or even in the magistrates, judicial, um, and recorrecting any kind of relationship with an agency, with your agents, and how have you noticed them, and how have you corrected it? How did you compel them? What instruments, language, and tools did you use? This could be to the trust, the academies, and to the government, to different independents, corporations that are masquerading as government departments. How have you claimed your property back? How have you managed your assets? How did you unreserve those rights that have been reserved by those parties? As I've said, when I've done my videos on Facebook, which you won't have seen, so I'll repeat it, we got a book when our kids started at this academy, and it requires a sign of nature, a signature, sigil. Witches had sigil, or sig, where the word comes from, signature, sine wave, sign of nature. I've got Josh now ringing in the back of me as well. But yeah, signature. You consent for the sanctions, discipline, and isolation should the need arise. I'm like, what? These are all military terminologies, a bit like occupation. So we won't be signing that, and we'll be giving a school, head of year, an email to say we'll require a meeting and we need to sit down and have a chat about your discipline, isolation, and other such policies and rights that you have reserved to detention. Well, we would like to unreserve them rights. And is it you we notice as well as the, top dog there, the principal at the top, the governor, head of year, vice principals? Yes, what you've got at the academies, and you notice them. But the trust ultimately, there'll be one man managing a lot of trust academies, yeah, and he'll be at the top. He's also the one that you need to notice, not just the ones immediately on site there. The trusts have a governance, all right, and there's ones that are higher that are never on site, or that only come once a quarter, or that just email the principals, principal trustee, and then he reports underneath. So you have the governor, and to know who the governors are in order to get the job done and to notice them correctly. Notice to agent is notice to principal. Notice to principal isn't to agent, and they should follow it by due process. But often it's nice just to go, I'll CC you in so you can see what I'm doing with your boy here, and you're put on notice duly as well. And you've got evidence to the testamentary facts and first-hand knowledge. So later down the line, when you claim you didn't know, to what I'm claiming here, you can say, yes, you did. That's all it is. They're going to take the money. They've got to do the job. We aren't very good at doing the job. When they come to haul us over the coal, what we can do is mitigate before they actually start litigating. Now, we would mitigate by giving you vulnerability, by claiming that there's been non-disclosure, assumptions and presumptions, that there has been, things effected and tendered and offered and honor and clean hands, and that we have got a legal deadlock, stalemate situation where mitigating circumstances have not been addressed, and now we are looking to hold the litigation off before we go for the fines, fees, and forfeits, and we go from legal to law sometimes in that crossover point there. So the mitigation is just that there is rules and things by lords and in CPR saying that there should be, like, if you look for Alpha, Delta, Romeo, Yeah, stands for, let me think now, alternative dispute resolution. And I think that was Lord Wolfe that suggested that before we go into the realm of fighting in a court, you need to have these set processes put into place. So there are certain things in the legal realm which are quite excellent. And the dispute resolution, though, dispute is the key word there because that's not appeal and that's not, reconsideration and it's not claim or anything. Alternative dispute resolution is when you're having a dispute, a trade dispute, a dispute, yeah, is in the commercial realm as well. We also, instead of appeal, might dispute something, like we say about repeal. And the appellant courts are under the courts of the chancery court. So you'd have the family, the criminal, and the chancery courts there, and then you've got the different appellant courts underneath them, and then the chancellor, exchequer, and so forth. Master of the rolls to govern them with the head of the appellant underneath them. So legal and lawful. When you go lawful, somebody once said to Smithy, that notice you've given me, it's not legal. And he's turned around and says, yes, I know it's not legal. I'm not a member of the bar. I'm not licensed to use legalese. I haven't been to, study legal in any way, and I don't care for it. He says, but I can assure you it is a lawful instruction and it is authorized and sanctioned. And I'd like, your capacity, name and title for who you are that has received that. Can you put that there for me on this separate bit of paper next to that date and time? So now I know whom I've served, in what status, title, and capacity. This is all under law, my good man. And let me rest assure you now that if anything is not contained to the letter herein as directed and instructed and requested by my good self upon you here today in the job that you're salaried to do in your salaried capacity there under your full public liability of title of office, I will be taking you to the cleaners and having your house, mate. So yes, this is law, what we're doing now. And if you don't understand it, I suggest you go and get some advice from your legal department who may be able to explain a little bit about it. So yeah, it's very, very interesting when you take off that person's mask, you take off the persona, you take off the cloak, you take off the coat, and you put it down once in a while, okay? Next time anybody wants any kind of signature, you need to stop and think. Here's another little thing for you. When your phone rings, and to any phone, mobile, landline, any kind, it's an internet call, it doesn't matter anymore. Whenever somebody wants to address you, yes, that's the clue there. They want to address you. What's address? Commercial terminology. You can't address me, the man, David. Never would you address me. You can communicate. You can open lines of communication. You can call me by my calling. You see, here we go, calling, telephone calls. When somebody calls you by your calling, oh, hello there. Is that David? Yeah, no, hang on. Who's calling, please? Answer your phone with hello, who's calling, please? Yeah, so as soon as you've answered and pressed that green button or lifted up the handset, try this for going straight forward. This will instantly improve your life and start to protect you, and you will see the difference immediately. I promise you. Especially with private numbers, they used to be called withheld, but now they're called what? Private number. There's a clue there. They're not giving their identity and they're not public, so they're not withheld. No, 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 no. I'm not withheld anything. I'm just private. This is a private number coming through. So you'd go, hello there, good day. Who's calling, please? Straight away. Oh, hello there. It's John from such and such dodgy boiler high percentage overinflated loans.com. Is that David? No, no, sorry, John. That's not Mr. David. Mr. Jeremita. So every time somebody, it's like a safety net for you. It's a little bit, we're going to put some videos out on how to be internet safe, how to be telephone safe, how to be savvy in certain ways because there's sharks out there looking to, how to manage accounts without creating joinder, which is where Kevin finds it hilarious, where you can be on land but go for a swim in the sea with the boat people. I think I'll go to your comments. I think it's time for a breathe. Screensavers on. 1 minute. Let me unlock it. Just sub the fly on the wall. We'll watch later. Awesome info, David. Yes, Lisa, thank you very much. I'm just ballparking. I've got you in my pocket and I'm in the garden having a smoke. I'm very tired. It's been a long, strong. When I say it's been a long, strong, myself and Josh now call the week strongs. We say to each other, have a good strong. See you at the strong end. That it has been a long, strong. Shadow dynamics. Yes, sir. Easy, brother. Anyone in Nottingham for tomorrow meeting? No, I've seen the video, Shadow, and I've put a little comment on. Thank you very much, brother. Yeah, nice to see. We'll talk about that video and David Fiction Eater another time. But yeah, hilarious. And it's about time some of this. I'm here to divide the minds of man. Let me tell you now, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not running away. All my videos are there with everything that I've said, word for word. And I've had to say some things actually. I can think stuff for so long, but once you've got witnesses and testamentary and evidence and claims and certain things, and it's gone on for a while, I've got to divide the minds here at the minute. And the videos that I've done and we've talked about with the realms of and the instruments and what we've said and when we've said it are all there. So at the times of when we were saying what we were saying, others was quite far, back, and I may have assumed that this man has had a direct involvement in said events that I've seen him at with folk that I've seen him with, and maybe he's just there for other reasons. But still, if I'm wrong, I'll correct it. It's not a problem. But I've got to point out there's smoke. There's a bit of smoke, and we'd like to know if there's any fire. Disclosure, disclosure, disclosure. Print your full name in dog Latin. Comment. I like that full name. Super Leeds. Evening. Yes, I brother. I assume you're a bloke, a brother, but you could well be a sister from a mister. Back in the room. Back in room. Stop it. Remind me of Smithy. You've just uploaded a video of yours. I need to start subbing and scribing to, let me see, go to channel, fly on wall, subscribing as we speak, bosh. I will be looking through my list. Comment, I don't think I'm scrubbed to you. So yeah, let me just have a look at a couple. There we go, bosh. Another one. Have you got any questions? Have you got anything you want to say? Yes, torts are suffered on man and man's property via ignorance. I'm not saying it's right, but we have an ignorance to the present controlling de facto Club of Rome Christian Catholic system. We currently have a Catholic bondage through the certificates and the language and the system there, but we have a Christian country. So we got the Christian Bible with the Catholic nation with the bonding going through there. So it's Christian and Catholic threaded, um, and the torts are suffered with the deception and the lack of the understanding, which is, yeah. Let me tell you this. 1913, when I said about the financial system getting an overhaul. Remember when slavery was allegedly abolished in 1860, 63. Now, I'm not very good with American presidents, and I'm aware we've got new scribes here that have come over from Field, McConnell, Abel, Danger, Gobsmack, and so forth. So you can help me out with the presidents at the time, and the correct. Yeah, I can't even think of the American presidents at this time. I might even try to, but after the alleged freeing of the slaves, we had integration then slowly into the economies and into the social structure. And obviously we've got the proclamations and the bonding and the, what's gone off with the wars and the integration as we've had pointed out. But then we've got issues here with the controlling elite seeing that their precious, pale, stale male environment is getting diluted. These aren't my words. This is the historical rendition of the atrocities of slavery, capitalism, uh, what's gone off here, bills of sale for bodies. I'm saying that the trading souls with birth certificates is not to be done. Well, these were trading man's body as slaves on boats, the strongest ones surviving. And I'm drifting again, but slavery being abolished in the 1860s, 1800s, and these social integrations that have gone off. I tell you now, Western, white, Anglo, European, none, all the light-skinned brothers and sisters out there. How's this for food for thought? Because the dark-skinned brothers that were previously slaves and considered lesser rights, lesser entitlements, lesser quality, not even a second-class citizen, a slave citizen. Okay, now these slave citizens that previously considered by the controlling elite and the monarchies and everything, they're all under God with the Bibles. We're now moving back into, the citizenships from the slave ship to the citizenship. And whilst they're moving back to the townships of the citizenships, they realise that these Moorish, now Robin Hood, that bit there, the Moorish with his Moorish, these Moorish and these dark-skinned brothers are the true heirs to the world's biggest estate, as it turns out. So if these now come into the education system and start getting the education and start implementing the instrumentation and obviously laying claim, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? They're going to correct that misconstrued title where they're now legal trustee and legally responsible for everything, and they're going to go and move up to the settlor allodial title owner again. So whilst they shifted and managed the 1913's financial banking, mortgage, investment structure, you'll go and do your research and you'll find out they also started to mess around with the educational system a lot more seriously. And us, Western, non-dark skinned, indigenous Western tribesman, we had our education, the education um, messed up and what would the word be? Subject to edits and revisions and the removal of etymology. So the ones that are of the true heirs to the world's biggest estate would never find out and be able to do it. I'm like, so you're telling me that the elites, in essence, sacrificed the bloodline of their own and the education of their own bloodlines just so the bloodline that they hated wouldn't learn what they needed to learn? It turns out that that's kind of what's happened. What? Kind of what's happened. Interesting theory. Can be debated all night. Let me go to your recent comments. I'm scrolling down. This stuff is mental. Who would have thought? But someone did. Very clever. Which bit? The chat room, my stuff, all of it. Planting under a full moon also seems to have an effect. Having your plants in a magnetic north environment, yeah, as Josh said, seems to make tomato plants yield well. So I'd show you. I could go like, it's a bit foggy here. We've got three-quarters of a moon. Yeah, I did see the super moon. I'm sleeping in Nottingham tonight. I'll let you know what was said in the meeting tomorrow. Aye, aye. All right, then you can be the man that takes the minutes. Yeah, so I look after yourself, Shadow. I know you roll deep and you're loved by all, but you are a very open, uh, sometimes heart on the sleeve kind of a man. So lock it down, brother. Look after yourself and respect. Thank you. P900. Did I just see then? Easy sister. How are you? Long time no see. All good. Anything we need updating with? Any gossip? Gossip, that meaning in the realm of tube, not personal, obviously. Just is there any channel stuff we need to know about? Out going off. Questionable gent. Wow. I'm sorry. That's just it's just somewhere in the middle there, isn't it? Any idea how long till we hear back about a consultation from? I've done a consultation already. I thought I was up to date. So if you've put one in, I will check in the morning and you will hear back tomorrow. That's all you got to do. Just give us a nudge. Yeah, well, we'll sort that out. If we're too busy, we'll refund it and say that we can't do it. If Andy and I have got bookings up and we can't fit you in the immediate near future, then we'll just say we'll have to hold on till we've got time. I'm sorry, we're not magicians, but yes, I'm up to date. We've done one Friday, 6 p.m. Check this, I was leaving Birmingham. I got back in at 5:15. And I had to do a little bit of running around 6:15. 1 hour later, after a 10-hour shift, I was on a hangout doing a consultation that had come in through the .com. And then I spoke to somebody else, of which I haven't wrapped up. So yeah, we'll sort it out. Thank you. What's that? Fly on the wall. Easily distracted. Sorry, I always watch next day. That's all good. Every single word is a spell on us. Yeah, it is indeed. It is indeed. Spell casting. You are spelling. What you do is you're using a cursive language, and the language is the monster of all ages, and the monster of all ages is many empires, and these empires stand and they fall, but it looks like the same controlling families, structure, instrumentation, religions, money structures control it all. So yes, very interesting. I posted a video in the .com about Santos doing some talks on historical, which is good. Cognition for the controlling lineage from spanning hundreds of years with all of the right names that he drops in. I can't do what he does, not for another 10 years, but very nice to understand it all. You are um, property, property, just right and proper. You have the title to it in this realm. You can have legal title, you can have a lawful title. Let me tell you this then, if I have an object and I want to use current credits to assign monetary value. I want to assign a monetary value to this object, and it's an old rare engine from a 1900, Volkswagen Beetle. It's an original engine, and Smithy wants to buy it. And I say, all right, I valued it up at 2.5 grand, £2,500, Bank of England pounds there, and I sell it for 2.5 grand. When I sell it, now I need to do this lawfully, not legally. What we do is we write out a bill of sale. So there's a bill of sale produced. There's 2 bits of value um, printer paper from any supermarket, and we get some pens, ink, special color, ink significance does matter. I wouldn't be using black. Let me put it to you like that. We've got red, blue, and purple to consider. I'll make it easy for you. I'll let you use your own due diligence and discovery, but you write out your bill of sales, um, identifying the engine by its, description, size, capacity, anything unique about it, chassis number, all of that would go down, and then you'd have 2 copies. One would be from I seller to Andy buyer, and one would be from Andy to have a copy. So then he's got the sale buying sale receipt, and I've got an invoice for selling him that. He gets an invoice, I keep a copy, he gets a receipt. We've got a bill of sale there in law. Anybody argues now that, and he puts that in a beetle, and someone then later comes down and says, sorry, pal, I reckon that engine's not yours. That engine's, we need to investigate it. Produces a bill of sale. That's my engine. Look, that's where I bought it from. And they come and ask me questions then, saying, hey, oh, we've asked Andy about his engine. He says he got it from you. Where'd you get that engine from, Dave? Say, well, fell off the back of a lorry like in Sheffield a few years ago. And yeah, I might have sold it in why. And they take me in for questioning. So it goes. So, it's, I know it's a bad example, but you sell anything, an automobile, and you are the V5 registered keeper, you want to sell it your brother, you write out a bill of sale, and now your brother is in law the owner of the private property. You are the V5 registered legal trustee, but now we have someone who's the owner of the private property, maybe classed as a vehicle by the DVLA, and you may be the registered keeper. It was under the agreement with the DVLA when you filled in the V5 logbook and you submitted it with your signature. So you submit the property when the signature is applied. You consent and sign the deal and move from being a lodal title owner to what? To the trustee, legal, possessory title, registered keeper. If you don't know what you're doing when you're doing it, that doesn't mean that it's not happening. If you don't know you're being conned when you're being conned, it doesn't mean to say you're not being conned. But what it does mean is when you found out that you've been conned, you can be obviously undoing the con. Whatever stands when you find out is no longer valid. It is now ab initio, ab. Is it your car, David, that has the hydrogen system on it? Yes, I have got an on-demand hydrogen system. Yeah, by if you search Eco Motus .co.uk, you will find Jason, who I'm an agent for. So he's got a company down in Truro, is it? Down that way, Devonish, Cornwall. And yeah, I've been down to see him, look at his technology, and we do hydrogen cleans. Still in the research and development mode. I'm waiting for him to get some more developments in the Midlands area, but yeah, 1.9 Volkswagen TDI engine with 196,000 on the clock, and it's got a little on-demand, runs about 2 amps, 2 amps off the system, 12-volt battery feed into a amplifier, and then electrolyte in the water releases hydrogen and oxygen. But this particular unit gets the oxygen and dumps it because your lambda sensors don't need to sense the extra oxygen, because that will then tell the ECU to increase the fuel supply and demand because it will think it's burning it too lean, rich, and this will go up. So you have to be careful not to introduce oxygen and only hydrogen into the air intake, so your combustion with the diesel, which then ups the combustion, ultimately like increasing the octane, if you would like, the combustion of the diesel, creating a 90, 95, 99% burn in the chamber, burning all of the fuel, reducing carbon deposits, creating more of a combustion in the piston chamber, reducing your carbon, hydrocarbons. Let me think, hydrogen, yeah, hydrocarbons are burning, and then it gives you your DPFs under less load and pressure on short runs because your fuel and particulate emissions and stuff are ultra low because of that. What I've just explained, that going off with the introduction of hydrogen into the air intake on the inlet manifold of air before the combustion. So engines are induction, combustion, and exhaust. And if you can understand that and introduce something, there's truly magnificent things been done in the past we shouldn't be doing. These again, yeah, that's just another example of the engines that we're running and the systems and how we're burning things. It's everything's backwards. How we manage things and how they manage it with us is unforgivable to say the least. And we can teach you a little bit about in the midnight sessions. We are the custodians, it seems, of this insightful knowledge. The custodians, ones that look after it. Custodians. What we saying? I'm going to the live chat again. 28 in the house. Good morning. 105. What? Comment, go with the flow, don't rock the boat. I say, let's have a mutiny on the citizenship. Yes, don't rock the boat, baby. Rock the boat. Rock the boat, baby. Sorry. I saw a magnetic thing you put on your hose pipe and it's supposed to increase grill yield. An Irish company, yeah, and those are true. These are called fractal water, restructured water, and imploded water are the three ones you want to have a look at, and then we'll talk about the two magnetic poles and how you use them and push water through them. You can get ring magnets and put the opposing poles together using a steel washer in between the two ring magnets, and we can, yeah, I've got about three different ways to work out with Josh and you, which is the best way to um, feed organic and grow, and yeah, get this water system fractured and fractalized. There we go. Water systems. I use crystals, a fly on the wall. I'm a big crystal user, yeah. Red, blue, shift, red light, district, blue movies. These words don't reflect who I am. Red, blue, shift, red light, district, blue movies. Colours in, not something I've paid attention to. I am aware of it, but you've got the toroidal red and blue, magnetic. Too late for that. Crystals from Mama. Thought you might do, sister. Shadow, yes. FPV, long time. Easy, brother. All right, I'll watch that after this. I will be checking that out after this. Thank you very much, FPV. If you don't know about him, I suggest you also click the link and check. He's got a blue spanner. He's a trusted brother. Shadow, you should have a blue spanner, actually. But yeah, we'll check that out. Thank you very much, FPV. No refund needed, dude. Questionable gent. No, sorry, brother. We're just blokes. There's me, Andy, Greg, Josh, and Kev now. So we're doing what we can. And yeah, donation is for our private time. So yeah, we will promote that and keep pushing that and say thank you very much. We're trying to build up the trust fund, and I would like about 10 men's available on the list that are listed on the .com as agents, trustees, in essence, but agents, and then you'd pick one in the relevant area and you'd get some time with them and you'd have a private chat, which isn't legal advice because we're not associated with the London bar, but we are brothers in a brotherhood, and we get remuneration for the private time and the accuracy of the lawful insight of which we could give you an equitable remedy to supersede the legal common law statutory um, position that you are in, and we would look at the situation. There is never we don't view them as problems. We don't view them as a problem as such, because problems can also become unsolvable to an extent. We look at everything as a situation, and we evaluate the situation, and then we apply everything that we have in our private time with our private research to help you get out of the crap that's being put against you and give you an indication of somewhere that you might consider. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, and we're quite proud of what we're doing. So thank you, and I'll see to it in the morning or the dinner time area. Anyone got any orgone? No. Oh, I've got black rings with things in them and gold actually, and black circles, orgonite. David does honour all in due course. Thank you, Shadow. P9's made her own. Orgonite, yeah. Check out Bubble Tech on Facebook, Super League Tour, and you've got saw his video with Violet you've put instead of Violet Shadow. I know what you mean. You're talking about Santos. Bless. We should always be ourselves, never take anyone's words. And that's right, fly on the wall, due diligence, use your own discovery. Yeah, try yourselves, that's it. What does crystals do? Vibration. They have a vibrational frequency. They have a color resonance. They can clear water. They can help clear your mind. You can put them on string, certain ones, and work out what the circular clockwise or anti-clockwise for yes or no. Ask them, keep asking them questions. Ask them a question of which you know the answer to, and you'll work out which is yes and which is no. And keep repeating it, and you'll find out that it keeps going around the same way for yes. Once you know you answer it, you ask it questions you know the answer to, and then you ask it questions that you don't know the answer to, and you watch which way it goes, and it gets a bit funky. They can be used for many things. You've got them in lighters to create sparks. They can create power. They're used for many things. We use them for holistic reasons. Could you put a common law line on it? What we're doing here? Quartz crystals. Yep. How would you, Leanne, the property? The property gets seized when you put a Leanne bank accounts and properties get seized in Leanne. That's what Leannes are for, instrumentation that would then render assets. Assets is the key word, all right. Manage the freeze bank account. So the liquidity in the Admiralty boat person's realm, all right, would be the assets are frozen. They would not liquidize the assets, they would freeze them, but they're both water terminologies, states of water, and they would lock down the assets, yes. Is it your card? We've got to a little bit. That's a big rabbit hole. Looked into a few, including remote viewing. Yes. Is Andy still in America? Is no, he's having the weekend off. He's having a rest. It's a bit late this one because I had to go and get Yanka and her auntie from East Midlands, so that's why I'm doing a late cast tonight. And he was already chilled out, I believe, and it was too late to go live. So I did send Kev a message as well. So did so many vids on it, but no one with it running. The whole engine doesn't run on hydrogen. It's engine modification, not um, an engine accessory, actually, not an engine modification. Let me put my teeth in. Classed as an engine accessory, not an engine modification, and it's on demand, so it's not lethal at all. It's completely safe, 100 million% because it only generates when the engine is running and on. When the engine gets turned off, the on demand turns off and the hydrogen's dissipated. It doesn't 100% run on hydrogen, but it can be done. You can do that. They tell you it can't, but yes, it's on the horizon. We should all be running on hydrogen in so many ways. Same with the colloidal silver. It's absolutely amazing. I'm trying it on my athlete's foot, see if that clears it up. After Josh telling or proclaiming that athlete's foot is connected to cancer, and cancer and athlete's foot are the same type of fungal infection, and that as it's eating your skin away on your feet, that's what it's doing to the cells in your body. And I'm like, hang on a minute, then you don't want to be even contemplating that, do you? So if yeah, I'll let you know. I'm not going to make videos of my stinking feet, though. Rest assured, you'll be saved from that. Do you know anything about Hertz? Yes, that's the frequency of radio wave range that's Hertzian. That's named after, oh, what's his full name now? 10 sovereign points for Dr. Hertz's full name. There was Marconi who nicked the invention of the radio off Tesla when it was Tesla that made it first. You've got frequency modulation, amplitude modulation is a short wave, long wave, and the Hertz is the Hertz frequency of the the radio bandwidth then the hertz because it goes up on the bandwidth from 90 to 105 or 79 to 104. Not too much. Oh, a Raymond Wright type machine you're talking about, fly there. All right, then yes, get on with it. Let us know, make some videos and show us. Disease resides between 4 and 6 kHz. Everything is vibration. That's right. They've got that in the come on, what is it? I forget what it's called now. The Hermes thing, not the Hermes Trismegistus, the real translation of not the Emerald tablets, but the other document that I've got. It's absolutely amazing. That's in there. It's got the Hermetic principles. And then we've got the Kabbalion by the three initiates, yeah, and the Hermetic principles. One of the seven Hermetic principles is the principle of vibration. And they're telling you from 3,000, whatever, 6,000 years ago, whenever it is, um, yeah, everything's vibrating. Nothing is as it seems. How did they know that back then? How did they know that? Well said. We've kind of drifted away. No one's got any property issues or anything to ask then on the subject of trusts, academies, notices, status, capacities, standing, instruments, claims. I've done the rice experiment. Dr. Masaru Emoto, rest in pieces, also downloaded the PDF that you can find for free called Messages from Water, and you will start using the law of attraction, the power of intent. And once you start it, they'll fly. Let me tell you now, you can't stop. You can't close the door if if you haven't got too much of a crazy life. It will get a bit crazy if you want to open that door, and or if you already have. I'm assuming that you haven't, but if you already have, comments please. Yes, don't give the just sit. Your diction be your own author. We all need to do it and film it. So many don't believe it. Calm down. Yeah, it's like we are all God. What you're doing is the same as Sadhguru with the putting of water into a copper jug receptacle. You are changing the water's molecular structure by putting water through magnets and using a fractalized or restructured water techniques. You are changing the molecular structure, the chemical basis and structure and fundamental values and properties of it remain the same. But what you are doing is the power of intent. Your body is at 80% water. The realm is 80% water. So if you think that by using your thoughts, yeah, I've done a rice water experiment and I've done it and I've set them all up and I've got it to the point of getting a pen and I've got the pen and I've written it on paper and I've put the paper in front of the jar. I've looked at that jar on its own and I've thought nice things of love. And I've got the next jar and I've put it somewhere else, well far away from the first one. I've looked at it and I've cursed it and I've said things in my mind at the jar and I've written hate and I've put it in front of the jar, not touched the jar, just had a look at it and I've thought things. And the third one I put somewhere else and I just put an X, yeah, because it had nothing done to it. And I just put that in front of it and I left them all. And the same thing happened. I was like, hmm. So just by thinking, not by writing on it. I was convinced that it was a pen and the writing of the word love and hate, but obviously not. Again, this would go down to the Kabbalion, the Hermetic principles, and the you've got correspondence there, and you've got cause and effect. The cause and effect. It's like, all right, here's a paradoxical situation that comes in. It's going to come in on a atomic level, because if any of you have seen the double slit experiment, yes, Dr. Quantum, I know it's not Dr. Quantum, it was done by somebody else, and I should know the name, but I can't be asked. We're at ease. Yeah, but Dr. Quantum is the one I recommend you watch first to get into this realm on YouTube of the double slit experiment. Now, once you've got that concept under your belt, you could then contemplate this question of which I'm going to ask. If if the photon, electron, atom is only a wave, it's a wave and a particle, but if it's only a particle when it's not being watched and it's a wave when it's being watched, is it, is it really, there's a question here that I could formulate that I'm trying to think now. Is it a wave, or it's like the tree falling and nobody hearing it? I'm trying to Schrodinger a quantum variation of that. If you're not watching it, is it there? Is it actually a wave or a particle? If you watch it and it turns into a wave, but you don't watch it and it's a particle, then you've got these things going off where in this realm, it's very, very deep and intricate. Basically, that rice water experiment and the things that you can do on a molecular quantum level with the thought vibration is quite deep, which then goes back to the biblical prophecies of which we've read upon. So, our intentions are everything. That's right, and it goes into that intention is, yeah. Bio oil, thankable, questionable, gent. Bio oil, nice one. I think the pirates made this legal though as the oil boy. Yeah, yeah, we know about that. Try some apple cider on your feet. All right, then I will do super leads. Apple cider vinegar, shit that we do. Oh, wow, it's good you ain't got a dog. Yeah, all right then. My head hurts. Well said. I like that super leads. Well done. Fist bumps. Sovereign points bonus. Oh, sugar. Yeah, yeah, that's right. I am trying to, Lisa. We are doing that. Look at Jerry getting on it. Convert, bio oil, 1.9 caddy. Off we go. That's what we like. What's it? Never happened. Colloidal silver. My dad donated for some from you, Indy, and it cleared up my bad throat. I had some sort of bacterial infection. No stinky feet, though. Yeah, well, man's I've worn toe caps for 15 years in warehouse jobs, and I don't mind saying they've ruined my feet. Not ruined them bad, but they're noticeable issues here and there. If you don't tend to them, then they get worse. So part of being a slave, isn't it? We get these, in the war they had trench foot for God's sake, and the feet dropped off. So yeah, I think I always give blessings for how we are, but. All right, then. Thank you for that about the silver as well. It will take away sore throats instantly. It takes away, you can nebulize it and take it if you've got asthma. I'm not giving medical advice, I'm just giving alternatives for afflictions and ailments and how to ease them. This shizzle, it will attack and kill 650,000 known pathogens. Now, I haven't tested that and I can't lay claim to it, but I've seen Robert Beck's is testimonials and others, and I've tried it out, and so far it's kicking ass. So I'm not claiming that. I'm just saying that it seems that, and history is, yeah, they used to put intravenously colloidal silver into the veins. But these topics, what we're going on here, there's about 10 different topics going off here. Wow. Can we not just stick to like what the actual video is? Because I haven't heard anything about property and law. sovereign sessions, maritime merchant, admiralty, common, ecclesiastical, contract, trust, UCC, penal, and statutory. Academies and trustees to be outlined in verbiage to assist you communicate effectively with these self-appointed authoritarians and unreserve the rights they have taken. Um, yes. Okay then. After Christianity was given legal status in 13, what? Threes and ones. I didn't even see that when I pasted it until now in 313. No, 113 Chancery Lane. And then you've got, let's start again. After Christianity was given legal status in 313, the churches began to organize themselves into dioceses based on provincial, not on the larger regional imperial districts. The dioceses were often smaller than the provinces, since there were so many more bishops than governors. Christianity was declared the empire's official religion by Theodosius I in 380. Constantine I in 318 gave litigants the right to have court cases transferred from the civil courts to the bishops. All very important dates, times, and I'm bringing us back on track because the chat room is heavily not on, yeah, track. It seems that you want to chat, and we will chat with what you're going with. I have said what I've said, and I've offered it in. So yeah. This is all good. Thank you all. Check out the Perfect Swindle by Marcus, the Serving King channel. Good stuff. Confusion programs. Comment. Respect. Thank you. Will do. My parents had big strokes, and I've been trying to find ways to sort it. Right. Heart, electric, magnetic. Ooh, fly on the wall. I get heart little issues now and again. I did do, and when I take silver water, I don't so much get little issues anymore. When I say that, murmurs, palpitations, like when you're in the car and you get down that bump and you lose your tummy. Feel that losing feeling when you go too fast in the car and you go over a bump and then you go over down the. Or you're on a fairground ride and you get that, what, lost my stomach. It's down to breathing. You might not be breathing properly. You might have anxiety issues. You might have a bad diet. It could be a million. That's why we can't claim to be doctors. What we can do is just generalize and say, I have water, cider, vinegar, apple, or lemon, and I put silver water in. I don't have too much. I'm not one of these that drinks a lot of it because I'm a bit wary of heavy metals in the body, and we're still in the research and development stage. I don't mind telling you. But the silver water seems to keep it at bay. So does alkalinity. Half a lemon in some nice distilled or pure water, mineral water before bed. Keep it in your body for 8 hours. But yeah, let us know how you go. Um, look at Super Leads. Proper bargain, like. Oh wow, no comment, no comment. Thank you for that, though. Thank you for that admission. Men's has dropped in. Mr. IQ, aka Ricardo. Yeah, we've done that. And all. That's what I do. I can't say all the names of everyone. Like it's so like there's customary to go into Hangouts and YouTube and go, "Hey John," you feel like the Waltons. Hey Menza. Hey Nana. Hey Jerry. Hey Super Leads. And then you got to. Oh, it's just too much. I don't mean to be rude, but say hello to everyone at once. Super Leads at Jerry. So I've asked Jason and Indy to come on raconteurs. Was that you? Excellent. All right, Super Leads. I am 300 emails behind. I have got notifications on the .com that I'm building a set law principle for that I haven't read. Messages. There's a consultation there. So yeah, there's a lot going off. The American injection now with able danger channel the scribers there, Field, McConnell, Gobsmack, Andy, the book, Andy's book, a 6 day presentation in Wales, 9,000 views on one video, 5,000 views on another, an influx coming into the .com, a lawful trust renaissance breaking out right now. Yeah, there's a lot going on to say the least. Um, Testimonials coming from YouTube, the .com, Facebook, from financial, commercial, corporate, judicial, all different areas, all different laws. It's just truly amazing and very, very busy. We have to take a step back sometimes and just take a breath because you do get overwhelmed. You imagine like, maybe you've had panic attacks or you ever had like a foggy brain, and when you do so many different jobs and you have a chat room that chats about 15 topics simultaneously while I was trying to hold a lawful thread, you do need to. You may think, well, why are you on YouTube? You've got all these jobs to do, and you've got, because this is my way of unwinding. I get to hear stuff, I get to interact, I get to get feedback, I get to test my dexterity. It may be late at night at the end of the week after a million and one jobs, but we have to take a break from it and condition and look after ourselves. If you don't trust and love, then you are good to nobody. If you don't relax and vitalize and stretch out and take time for yourself and relax and cut off and have some fun, to me, this is fun, yes, weird, but true. Then, you get damaged in many ways. So thank you for that. And I'm going to continue on. Nice one, So, I've already, yeah, we're going to get on that. Yeah, back to Super Leads. I will come on, raconteurs. You help me to help you. Yeah. I will say yes. We just got to link up somehow. So, if you put in the email, um, something subject such as Super Leads, email me, David at splspro.com. And as daft as it sounds, yeah, just put in the subject, Super Leads. And then when I search my email inbox for Super Leads, that'll be how I find it. And then we'll work it out that way and chat and pass details. Sorry, you get lost. Everything gets lost when we get busy, which is why we ask for help and more structure, direction, and linkages. Yes, Lisa, good advice about diet, sir. Jerry's agreeing. Webby was on before with Indy. Webby, who's that? Paul Webster, you mean, Webby? I'm gonna say I've had a chat with Spider-Man or something. What you on about, Jerry? All right, I'm getting there. Get there. A fly on the wall. That's a sad situation, especially when you know that that's Reg will help them. Hmm. Yeah, well, you can't. Sometimes there's not a lot you can do. Well, even the ones you love, they're in there stuck in their ways. That's it. Yeah. God, Menza must be. Oh, bless you. Nice one, Menza. Aren't you nice, like Jerry. We're all upside down because our nose smells and our feet runs. Our nose runs. Our feet smells and our nose runs, but it should be the feet runs. Yeah. I'm not on sympathy trip, just saying I've had a lot of time to research stuff, but if my dad won't believe me, give organic a go, I can tell my mum. Yeah, that's it. I was in workplace and I interviewed somebody and says, "Why haven't you come to work? Why are you late?" And third leg. And they to explain that their mum had been diagnosed with cancer and they'd had a traumatic weekend, and so they didn't bother coming into their shift. And on the return to work, I had to fill out the paperwork, and upon the questionnaires of why you hadn't come into work, I had to then receive the information. And I went, right, okay then. So this is your fifth time off, and it's triggered. It would normally trigger an absence alert point, and you have to do reviews. But obviously, if it's medical, I know, and it's obviously wavered, and we're just if there's anything I can do to help, or you need more time off, I'm quite supportive in that respect. And anyway, 6 months later, she came up to me, said she needed some time off. Mum's going for more scans, chemotherapy, blah blah blah. I'm like, yes, but have you looked into any of the stuff that I've said, or any of the alternatives and any of the remedies, and the fact that chemotherapy and radiotherapy is very carcinogenic, and there are many other things out there that people are proclaiming that helps alleviate and work in magic ways, and she just ignored it all, and ended up, my mum lived longer than she should have predicted to be, but she had quite a hard time in that period, and things did degrade in the quality of life. So it just, if that was somebody in my family, not judging this lady, it's not my place to, I can't comment and give you the details because it's all private and previous in, but it's a true fact. You give advice out to ones that that come to you and broken, and they're worried, and you think they're taking it in, and then they go away and they go for the big farmer option, and they totally disregard every bit of information that you took an hour and a half to explain out of your time, and send information, videos, documentation, support and evidence, other such corroborating such speakers as medical doctors coming out and proclaiming, whistleblowers and all of it, to get nothing. So yeah, that's not like a loved one of mine, but if anybody in my family did get that, trust me, they would have it forced upon them. There would be no option, and I would be sitting there, and then afterwards I would say, so I've given it you, and you understand everything. You make the decision, and I'll respect that because it's your body. But there is a way to kick the arse out of this shiz. And yeah, if it involves something that is a plant, or a bit of a different way, an oil, a different oil, then why wouldn't you try it? Of course you would. It doesn't cost thousands of pounds, and it's there right now. It's a sad state, Dave. I hate law. Sorry. There you go. Thank you. Why do you hate law? What is it about hate law that you hate? Well, on the subject, I know that mortgages are a massive fraud, ultimately hold rights on your property, which is why I haven't got one. Need a way around it. Look at common law holdings, like you've got free holdings and you've got holdings, land holdings, sublet, um, lease holdings, freehold. Then look at common hold. All right. Section 5, Mercantile Amendment Act, Shadow Time. What are you on about, Shadow? Buy a bit of land. Yeah. Cook, we should only eat raw. Yeah, well, that being said, yeah, we should only eat raw. That is true, but how boring would it be? We've been conditioned to have three hot square meals a day, and yeah, even warm porridge is sometimes I have that at night time. Just yeah, but you are right. We should, but as long as you eat something raw, as long as you have, then you're all right with it. But yeah, each to their own. But there is more benefit if you eat more energy and vitality if you eat raw. Fact. All right, Menzi, yeah. I've sent a soft drag. It's all right. It's all good. I like it. Have you heard of more moringa? Yep, we've got that. Veg. Oh, bless. Dad still watches TV. Menza, nice one. The Waltons. Oh, I remember that. Mhm. Lisa, you were great with Phil, Gobsmack, and Andy. How quiet was I? See, I even stayed on for a little bit at the end just to like re-cement it. That's been dropped on us like out of a little bit out the blue. Andy going over to America had nothing to do with me. He did all that himself, promoted himself, got over there with Field and Gobsmack, held it down, got his book out, told him he'd like to write a book and got involved on a big scale there. Immensely proud of that brother. Like I say, we met from YouTube. We didn't go to school together. Didn't know him from Adam. That man's with not only the Liverpool interaction with what we did there, but yeah, we got emotional on that point, Lee. So I didn't like the fact that Liverpool was brought up, and well, it's not that they were being horrible. I just mean that it's quite an emotional point, and we'll gloss over it now at every given opportunity. But it is a unique reference point of our history. And Andy we was together, and yeah, I was quite reserved, and I do need to get some further details of what the feck is going off from the 19th of March till the 25th at this Welsh venue with myself, Andy, and Gobsmack presenting for 6 days, possibly 6 days. I've said conditionally yes, till I check everything out. I need to talk to my boss man, and also I didn't want to like make a big deal of it. But yeah, I said I'm self and privately employed and etc. I've got duties for the trust.com to look after as well. If we have a big explosion for whatever reason and something happens, and things need to be maintained, but we can manage it and wing it for that time. And it has come out of the blue, as Gobsmack even said himself. It wasn't supposed to be happening for a bit, but for some reason there is a divine conscious movement, push, energy, need, requirement, desire, willing. Um, everything's we're being helped, assisted. That much is true. Honorability, divinity, cause and effect, um, laws of attraction. Lisa, where am I going with this? What have I started? But yeah, the gravitas of it, me being reserved, probably about 14,000 views between two them same videos on two different channels. The energy of the Americai, the I can, I can, mer being see now, I see I can. Oh, even greater. Thank you, Josh. The brothers and sisters from the incorporation, the lands of the Americas, their energy, their willingness, their resources. Oh my days. It's hard to stay calm. That's why I went live before. Then Field McConnell saw me go live, telling you lot to come and back us up, and I'm like, hey, well, there's not wrong with this. Is the Field? These are my scribers. I need to tell him I'm going over here in a bit, and I don't know who he is. I don't know if he's nice or not. I've only seen him a little bit. You need to take me for family. I need to get back up. We need the Blue Man Group. We need the new subscribers. We need everyone in the same boat, even if it is a private boat. We're still in there together, and we can. Yeah, we held it down. I'm proud that you're proud. I'm proud. Proud of each other, proud of the linkages, proud of Smithy. Back to the point, intent. Look where he is now. He said to me 3 years ago, I don't know what I can do. He said those words to me when I put my number on the internet, and then I went to his house, and all these risks were taken, massive risks, stupid risks, but genuine. Luckily for everybody involved, look what's happened now. Look what's happened. Look where we're at. He's revealed his history and his past, and nobody could have predicted what's going on in my life for me or him, or what actions and consequences, sequences after that actions, reactions. Nobody could. So it's a fun old ride. It is indeed. We think we have plans and direction, and we know where we're going, and then you go around the corner, and there's a great big surprise, and you, you've got to deal with it. And it's what you do, isn't it? So thank you. We keep trying. We are very grateful. It is hard sometimes for me, as you can tell. But yes, um, wow, wowee, unbonding, not just of the UK, English, Anglo, sovereign Britons, Anglicans, Earth men. There we go, Earth men. Finally found one that fits easy. But now the Americans are contemplating coming across. Hey up, how's they doing? They want to have a chat like videoing, cameras. Just I don't know what format, and I'm getting a bit. Ooh, I don't, I can freestyle, but we need to come in that way. You want it to be cock on, cock on, Tommy. So we will see step by step structure of how to unbond generals, archbishops, defenders of faiths, letters to CC, papal, dioceses. Yeah, you know what I mean? And then obviously the marching down to the courts of chancery. Only thing that happens by chance, happen or might not, So there's a big, obviously, this has been helped with Andy and Raf them getting together. We've known a while of interactions have happened, and Raf's mentioned that he was proud of us for what we did going down to Liverpool, and we changed things, and we didn't know what we changed, and we don't know what we've done. Well, to some extent, he's right because we don't know. We can't be everywhere at once and hearing and seeing comments, interaction, and so forth and so on. We only know what we know, and that's it. You know what you know. So that was nice of him, brought some strength back of him to say, because kind of felt like we failed or we were set up or used or lied to or piss taken out of us, or I don't know. That's when you wear your heart on the sleeve and you try and be good in an evil world. You are hurt a lot. You are used a lot. You are manipulated a lot. You are taken advantage of a lot. You have your things stolen. You have claims made, and this is how it is. And there are demons and bad things and negativity everywhere. But when it's something like that and you're exposed to it and you go out there on a limb, then there's a certain amount of expectations, and when it's planned and it's put on you anyway. So yeah, that's a chapter I'd like to move on with. But unfortunately, it's so big and it was so public and worldwide that I don't know. It puts us in good stead in some ways, but it just puts a gravitas on you because I don't know if that was mentioned for reasons of divinity and the fact that there was a black priest there from Westminster that we required a rite of passage from the Holy See. Again, the sea, the boat people are here, but this is the ecclesiastical boat people, the Holy See, the eyes of the Holy See, rites of passage, conveyance, please. You have got the diplomatic immunity of which we need. He is effectively an outlaw. He is higher than all of the governance of law on this land because he represents the city of London, Westminster, Vatican, clergy. I can't think of all the correct appointed words now, but there's a lot more I could put to it. Phew, it just put back into place, where we're at. So yeah, I did do well. I know I did, and it was hard not to gab on and just to direct them to the channel. I noticed that we got past 3,000, so a good 20 have subscribed, I think, from since that cast. And we need to get Andy on here and focus it up. This is just a bit of a random one, as it turns out, But thank you, or whoever that was. Wow, I can't read all these comments. We're too busy. I can't even see how many is in the house. It turns out you're having your own show on my show. There's that much going on. You are a lot of chatterboxes, aren't you? Ah, I see. Gotcha. Super Leeds, you will sort it. Yes, I thank you, Leeds. Help me to help you. I'll help you to help me. Who help me to help you? That's how it is. Nothing personal. It's just absolutely batshit crazy everywhere. As you can see, there is not enough time. I literally don't stop, and I need to do more planning. Dr. Sebi, yes, yes. Sadhguru. Garlic, poison, bloodstream. I heard that. Brain barrier. It can pass through and it does stuff to the left and the right. Hmm. Black garlic. Yeah, garlic, you're right about that. Night, sister, you aren't know if you're still here. Ginger, superfoods, honey, garlic, turmeric. Yep. Organic tobacco, yeah. Yes, I have tried a little bit of that. Yeah, it was all right. Where in Wales is the meat? Llangollen, I believe. If you say Llangollen, I think he said I couldn't remember. It was all sprung on me. I probably said it wrong on that cast there. I tried to just emulate what l.a.w had said so he didn't feel silly, but I'm sure it there. Men's has got it there. Look, as I scroll down, Llangollen. No risk, no reward. Exactly, Shadow. 19th till 25th. Men's is up on it. Thank you. I missed the Liverpool one. How can we prove that? It's all hearsay. We prove it in many ways. Witnesses, statements, instruments, thumbprints, testimonials, testamentaries. We worry about that. I am. Therefore, when he goes to the bush, the burning bush, and Moses goes, well, but when I go back down and tell everybody, who shall I said told me? And God says, yeah, I am. He tested Moses then when he said that I am. I am. I think we had it further on than I am. I think, therefore I am. It's all about, sorry, but yeah, just moving on about the hearsay and things like that. There are ways, and there is a cognitive way of thinking. There is a proven way of thinking. There is a way of stating things. Now there is a cut. There is a there is a answer to the language, using the language in the language. Again, there's another layer in. We'll see. I'll give you more through the.com and through the Hangouts. We'll let you know. Don't worry. I have a thought. If the energy is in a chi, energy is in a chi enemy. Maybe it's an enemy. All right, Holly. Thank you for that, though. Novices, all levels are appreciated. All input. Everybody is welcome. Thank you very much, Holly Breeze. What you saying there? North Wales now. Catching up with that. So you're listening. Moses say, come out, my people. Yes. I am here as natural man. Godspeed, John Mello. Another new scriber. Easy John, natural man. All right then. I like that, brother. I see your naturalness. Godspeed, super leads. Bless us all. Holly. Sorry, dyslexic, tired. We all started off in that position. Don't be afraid to ask a question. Yeah, that's what we want. Interaction, questions, praise, grumble. Any of you that have got experiences, particular legal, even though it is now GMT 5 to 2. We are wrapping this up soon. Actually, fam, we've achieved not a great deal in the realm of property and law in the sovereign sessions, but yeah, we have held about a rough 30 all the way through. We've had a decent chat. I've covered everything I want to cover, and we said hello to some new scribers, and we are 3016. Yeah. We'll continue on with the live chat and wrapping it up in the next half an hour. All right. So, Holly, thank you. Was it John as well? Thank you, brother and sister. Holy, whatever it is. Sorry. If it is, yeah. It's just a name. You are not that name. Yes, it's just you are not a name. You have a calling, like we say. Um, I am doesn't have the name. If we think about it, I am is just being. If you are a human doing, like what I am, what Andy is, what Kevin is, what Greg is, what Josh is, and what these scribers are now, you are a human doing. You are a man doing, not a man being, and a doing and a knowing rather than a believing and a being are different wavelengths and vibrations. So it is a pathway of which, yeah, it's interesting to say the least, and the interaction that we've all got with our different interpretations. And when you read a passage or a bit of law or a scripture verse, gospel from the Bible, you will have an interpretation and an understanding down to your consciousness, intelligence, and limitations of you. Your interpretation and experience will deliver a picture in your mind of that passage of words. Now, if 1,000 brothers and sisters read that same passage and I asked them all for a description in their own words of it, you'd probably get 1,000 different variations. So that's how, unfortunately, things are. And this realm takes advantage of that. But we have found that there are immovable and fixed mathematics, to be fair, gave us a great many um, leverage points where we can start to use that to measure things and laws. When we go on about laws, and that's primarily what the title of this is, and what we are masters of, the masters of the realm of the applied usage, interpretation, and forward motion of these laws and understandings, understandings. Oh, we're at ease, but and these laws are scientific and universal in the cosmos, solar system, magnets, black holes, supernovas, the universes in themselves, and the cosmic forces, and the ways that the laws, Fibonacci, phi, pi, the physical, the phi cycle that was Josh was going on about, that really stuck in my head now, the five, the phi, the physical, and these kind of patterns that are unbreakable, that follow a rule. They are the laws, and the numbers have helped us assign that. But then we've got these other laws that have crept up that aren't natural, that aren't divine, that are invisible, that have got credence and strength, and these are more of the um, occult, dark, black area. And if it was, uh, as we have since found it through the great work and research and analog and discussion, and now we're going transcontinental. Wow, it really is. It's a crazy old time, and this information is freely out there. The lineage, historical, monarchical, financial, um, ecclesiastical, all of it is there. We just simply have had a great many great minds, opportunities, synchronicities. That's what I mean. That's what Andy's saying, and what we're saying, that when we say we've had good luck, good fortune, well, there is no such thing as luck. And in this life, when you do something for somebody, I will shit you not. When you do something good and honourable, and you do it because you've done it because no other reason than because you want to do good, when you've done that, you get a brilliant feeling that no other feeling can compare to. And it's a self feeling, and you just feel content in the knowledge that you've made another human's life a bit better just for one day, or for a little bit, maybe for quite a while. Maybe you do something massive. Maybe you do something just a tiny thing. Maybe you're going down somewhere and you save somebody from something, or somebody drops 20 quid, and you graciously tell them, here, mate, you just dropped that 20 quid there, you know. You wanting it? Or can I have it? And they'll look at you and they'll be like, fucking what? Yeah, nice one. Cheers, pal. And because everyone's skint and needs it, whatever it is, that bit of honesty, that bit of consideration. What I'm getting at is you continuously do that and you change your ways and you get into this realm of this giving and taking, and it gives back to you. And where you would normally call it coincidence, it is not coincidence of really it's a reward system, and it's been kept from us like the Alexandria, the Library of Alexandria that they allege has been burnt down. Are you shitting me? Are you, there was stuff in there. Right, soldiers, let me tell you about the soldi, SOLDI. The soldi, hotel, what we're saying here, hotel, motel. No, we're talking Alexandria Library. There was books in there that would tell you how would you make a soldier the greatest soldier he's ever. There is a link. The greatest soldier he's ever been. You would take away his fear of death. Now, other than getting him pissed and drunk as a skunk or high on some hallucinogenic drugs before battle, which isn't the greatest, but will work and has been done. See UK government projects in the past for that. Um, you would get him to lose the fear. So what they used to do is there's certain spots in the body that we'll call them the Asian practitioners of olden world, the old world, they could press and you would die and your soul and your chi and your essence leaves the body. You have an OBE right there on the spot as a soul D, yeah, SOLD, money to get money. This is to do with money, let me tell you in Italian, soldi. But the soldier, yeah, dies and exits his body. He exits his body and he sees that his body is not just, or the all is outside of the body. He knows that death is not the end because right now he's outside his body, looking at his body, going, hey, oh, I'm outside my body and I'm not dead. And then the shaman doctor um, he presses more points on the body and it returns the chi and the soul back to the body and the soldier's back alive again and he's like, hey up, that was a bit crazy, weren't it? And the man's like, right now you know what the shit's going down when you die, you don't need to be scared of dying, get yourself out there on that battlefield and kick some ass. And they do, and they go out there and they know there's no fear. And I'm tangented again and I do go on one, sorry about that, but at 2 in the morning on my own channel, Saturday night, Sunday morning. You're asking for it, I'm afraid. This is my fun time and my dexterity time to see if I can recall, like, I need this, especially if we're doing this in Wales. But still, enjoy that. Thank you. And let's go back to your comments. Don't hit it when your light runs out of food. I'm a natural man. I got to that, John. There we go. Great show, Indy. And in all in chat, thanks for the freedom, man. Peace and love. You're welcome, Jerry. Thank you. Respect. Next time. All right, Holly. Yeah, yeah. It's okay. Thank you. We'll do it again. Want to set my own state using the principles of international law. Oh, Shadow, you don't think small, do you, brother, eh? You don't think small. It's almost 5 a.m. here. I'm listening to you now from tomorrow. Okay, Lisa. Wow. Oscar. I do not recognize what this place has become. I inherently reject it and know it in my being. It is so wrong. I like that. Yes, it is abhorrent. It is wrong indeed. We've become disconnected from the source code of language, viewpoints, food, beliefs, religion. Yeah, the I was on about the Library of Alexander that would now be classified as being containing information such as books as that would tell you the information of how to do that with the soul D and the soul of the soul D, and how to do such things. And it was reported to have been burnt down, but obviously they'll be hidden in the catacombs of said nation. Names. It's all right. I'm bad with names as well. Remembering names. Yes. I like the way you broke that down. Kudos. I've out of bodied many times and lucid dreams. One thing that I've never done, I won't try and lie to you. I think I'd be a bit scared. I've only done DMT so far. I've not done the full DMT trip yet because I freaked myself out in the garden. So, with regards to DMT, trust me, I've done and seen some, and nearly I've crashed many a car, rolled a car. I've been in such situations where I've ended up in a violent situation of which I've feared for my life, but I've always escaped and come out of it. We have actually. I've never been on my own when this has happened, and certain things to do with the spiritual, temporal um, realm and what's it called now? Dimension shits me up. I've not got anything demon wise to hide from. It's just that you realize that there's more to life than just, yeah, that obvious bit. So, OBE, no. Lucid dreams, yes. Woke up, thought I'd been chopped in half. I actually thought, I checked my body. I woke up and I was like, oh, oh, I've not been chopped in half. But that was, yeah, that's what you mean there. I've had purple haze. Thank you, Lisa. In a fantastic way. I know what you mean. My favourite time, kick it, Dave. Josh, excellent for words and stuff etymology. Yes, I thank you, Mr. M. Citibank. Oh, no, what are you getting me angry for? Dream big. Yes, I dream. We are a team to deliver that dream. You know what I mean? I'm pretty big on the scene. Would say that now. I got 3,000 subscribers. I'm very happy. I remember when I had 300 and I was chuffed at 300. It's just as time goes on, views go up. Yeah, I'm limiting the adverts, as you can see. I just put one non-skippable one on at the beginning, or one skippable one, and sometimes one non. It depends. Some have none. Obviously, not. I'm going to try some of them, and Santos one and that. I've got to sort Patreon out. I'm going for the sponsorship on Patreon. I don't want to be running around Birmingham cleaning off mold off walls, trekking around this crazy city, seeing all the fly tipping areas and the disgustingness of it, and risking my own, sanity, danger, time, commercial danger, road traffic. It's not good. I much rather focus on the trust technology, delivering seminars, working with Sovereign Smith, yourselves, going to perform Mackenzie Friends appearances in the, yeah, not really, reluctantly, judicial realm for urgent things that needed to be tended to. Your paperwork really ought to precede you when we say that they dismiss and discharge or sort out before the need for court and the summons date crops up. Here's another important thing. Well done for staying with me. And as a reward, I will reiterate, if you are feeling that you have to go down to the judicial realm to make a representation or answer to a summons and a civil issue of which is getting out of control, and you are worrying about that civil issue, and you go down to the hearing trial place of business, de facto non de jure court, what I would advise you are considered to do is to ask the justices of the peace, Robe and Banker, if you can have an immediate adjournment of the court trial hearing case, because you need time in order to
to present your defense and possible counterclaim to this. Paperwork needs to be brought in order, and you go away, lets him know that you know the game rather than just going straight up and trying to defend something with not filing any paperwork. And it was just something that got brought to me that needs to be put into one of the sovereign masters guild educational key competence, that foundational one we've done, which is we've got three there. There's a bronze, a gold, a bronze, a silver, and a gold level of the foundation. So you read and watch the video, status, standing, and capacity. Then you go on to the CQV quasi master, number 2, which is the silver. And then you'd go on to the gold, which is the servant master trust slavery principle. Wow. And that's all of the three foundation key competence that we would say that you need. And in addition to that, I've remembered another one that comes from Brother Sovereign Ben, and it goes something like arguments of counsel in brief are not sufficient for summary judgment. Bosh. And you can just recite shit like that off at 10 past 2 in the morning after a hard week. I'm chuffed with it. Having a chat, some getting dexterous with you lot and making these publications and continuously revising them, putting them into practice, seeing the results. I'm just basically facilitating like a little public chat for you, aren't I? Family that meets up, open up the channel, got me on in the background, blabbing on about whatever it is I want to talk about. You lot having your splinter conversations, layers and layers of things going off in conversations and topics and interests. Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you all. Carry on. I insist. Benza, I know what you mean. 4 weeks, mad lucid dreams. Now I know what you mean. I am on. Yes. Wow. That is when I got chopped in half, as it happens in that period, in that kind of a 4 week period for me. Vatican Library should be online now then. Hey, that's one thing we should do. Get in there, sneak in, scan all them parchments and everything to get them on. Here we are in the Vatican. David, fiction eater in the Vatican, live. I'm trying to do a David Attenborough, but as David Fiction Eater. And yeah, then we'd like, wow, who lives in a dungeon slave house like this? Sovereigns, get me out of here. We have so much fun. Like I say, the first woman to have a baby on the Vatican, the national landmass, the nation itself, it means that that baby's heir to the whole world. Be hysterically funny, so hysterically funny. If somebody could at some point arrange this to happen. It happened to me in a dream. I've heard it said on a YouTube video, and now I'm telling you, it stands to reason. If it ever happened, it would be hilarious. I'm sure the Pope would explode. The Vatican Library, though, yes. You're all right, Holly. Thank you. My pleasure. Super leads. The Library of Alexander is in the Vatican Library. Yes, I will put my worth on it. If they didn't burn it, they said they burnt it. They collect the books. They can see and hide. Thank you all. I'm handing it over to you. What we're chatting about now. Um, I've caught up with the comments. We're wrapping up. Andy's book pre-order link out soon. Look at Men's ago. You don't mess around. Nice one, Mr. M. respect, peace, and love. I only seen that link to myself today, actually. On the links on the videos, yeah. Fly on the wall. These are important times, Dave. I know they are. They're actually scary times. They're scaring me. Going around with books starting about chapters and lords and gods and creators. Um, I'm cleaning mold out of houses in Birmingham. I'm an ex-DJ, warehouse manager, nothing prolific, nothing religious or profanic or academic or from the scholarship or any endorsements. But never been locked up, never done a man a massive harm, never killed a man, never robbed a man, never done anything rapage or nothing nasty. So we're all good, but yeah, it is a bit scary where we're at. I've said to Andy, do you want to stop it? Shall we just run away and live with my mum on the island of X, in the near over there, Greece way? And I'm like, come on, we'll go Bosnian pyramid for a bit and hide out. We'll find a pyramid and just set up. We'll just forget about it. I says, we don't have to carry on. After the older hay in Liverpool, me and Andy had a chat, and I says, this is massive, mate. This is bigger than anything what I've previously known of, done, heard of, seen some stuff, done some stuff, seen some shit, man. You know what I mean? And this is just huge, huger than huge, bigger than the biggest thing that you've ever seen. But Digby, the world's biggest dog, thought he was big when I saw him when I was 8. Yes, no, it's bigger than Digby, bigger than big. So yeah, thank you. Um, it is interesting. History is interesting. The adversary writes his story, and we are fast learning the internet, the acceleration of it, and what we do here, interaction with other channels and Santos, Romley Stewart, Max Egan, the Australian crew down there themselves, Franco Collins, um, Jordan Maxwell. Oh my days, these men have given David Icke to some extent. We got some bits from him, but all we've been able to do is put the remedy side into place where we recognize how to look at other representation angles, arguments. So yeah, the Bible, the biblical stuff. Yeah, it is quite overwhelming. Yeah, and the aptitude. Yeah, you have got the aptitude. Of course, you have. You've got the essence of the creator within. The system's designed you to doubt yourself, to question yourself, to have the fear. But once you learn, you've got clean hands and that you are pure and that you are on the right pathway and that you do right, then you will have a protection. The angels will come to protect you. The creator protects you. The divinity protects you. The numbers protect you. YouTube protects you. Your family protects you. You will see that you will have little notices, reminders, and coincidences, and things will happen, and the universe works with you, um, Holly. So yeah, don't feel that way at all. And I feel overwhelmed. We don't always have the answers. We feel under pressure, stuck, put on, and yeah, it all comes into place, and everybody helps, and we have got a way out, and there is safety, there is security, and you don't need to learn all of their crap or indeed all what we say. You just need to get a handle on who you are, what you are, the instrumentation, how they render that in the legal realm, how we cross it over to law, away from admiralty, UCC, maritime, admiralty. Ecclesiastical law is mentioned in the remake of the Robin Hood film. It goes against one of the canons, and because he goes against one of the canons, he can be killed. I'm like, what? Look at these lot go. Proper some dark mentions, not just the Arabic insular, and yeah, the introduction of a dark skinned brother into Robin Hood. I'm telling you now, it's going to shock a lot of you, that. interesting light. So yeah, got to start the .com stuff. Yeah, we've got files we can share with you as well. These principles are for all of the realms, all of the continents. It is a lot to deprogram and upload. It is like Andy says, you watch videos and you go to seminars, and you do need to. We have been hoodwinked in a big way. It's not funny. It's not funny at all. United we stand. Well, yeah, united together as one family. We live as yeah, united. UNITED, yeah. Not bad. I like it. I know what you mean. Together as one. Right, I've gone up. I'd love to have knowledge of language, much respect. Yeah, and language, interpretation, the legalese, the Black's Law. Apparently, it's called Black's Law. Brother Kevin was chatting to me. We was having a chat because it was invented to suppress the dark-skinned brothers, no less, to invent persons and to persuade them the other way. And as a part of the sacrifice, like I said, with the removal of the civics and the etymology and so forth, they also encompassed us with this law, black law, business and persons and instrumentation. The language, though, yeah, I've got a few books, and you do have to immerse yourself, and you know that the Law Society uses legalese, man speaks babble. Yes, there is certain terms and ways that you can speak and use and contract and sign and autograph and liability. Those are what you need. You need to know the construct of law. What is the construct? The CPR, the civil procedure rules, the court practice rules, court procedural rules, even, and the actual maxims of what our governances are, of the parameters of the um, construct. So the maxims of law, the maxims of equity, they are your best friend. They're where to start, to be fair. Once you've learned the maxims, then you'd learn the status, standing, and capacity, the tierage system of the courts. What is a high court? Why is it a high court? What is a high priest? Why is it a high priest? What has the court and the churches got in common, and how are they familiar? Look at the historical content, the instrumentation of these churches, and so forth. And yeah, it's you go on your own pathway. You're all unique. You've all got your own mind. You've all got your own wants and desires and needs and fears and threats and ethics and morals. So, and religion. So, you go on your own journey to some extent there. Catch up with these comments. 11, 11. Oh, aye. That's yeah, that's a number I see a lot. 23, 23, 23, 11, 11, 11. 3 ones and a 3. 1, 1, 3. 3, 1, 1. Very interesting. Triple two. I actually went on what Wogan to make sure all conspiracy theorists would get dismissed. He's killing me. I seen he was on this morning or something, was he not, as well? Money is pure, pure evil. No, those that use it, collect it. The pursuit of money is evil. Yeah, but the usage, it can save lives. I don't agree with that, but you all have a right to independence and thought and free thinking and free speech fly. So yeah, respect for your comment. Menza, respect for the link. Thank you. Tower of Babel, yes, Holly. Babylon, baby London, baby long time, baby long Babel. So where you've got the writings of the words and you get confused with the individual spellings and the Latin and the English. No men. Here's something from Santos's videos from back in the day. nomen of Rome, a cognomen, and nomen, N-O-N, November, Oscar, November, no, November, Oscar, Mikey, Echo, November, no men. And then you've got a cog, a C-O-G, Charlie, Oscar, Golf, cog, and November, Oscar, Mikey, Echo, November, a cognomen. And these are things of Rome, the Vati in Rome, and the Latin Italian side, cognomen and nomen. I forgot why I was telling you this now. What was the comment on the screen? Babel, Babylon, um, and the Babel. So the language and the phonics of nomen. Right, Spanish, Brother Santos. And here we go. It's coming back. Santos says, hombre is the word for brother or brother man. Hombre, Spanish, Mexican. And then you've got nombre for the name. And the name is not the H, hombre, H-O-M-B-R-E, but N-O-M-B-R-E, nombre. So the hombre turns to nombre, and the N-O, as Josh would now put it, and Santos puts it, also N-O before that means no, not of, good, not good, starting with no, negative. So, yeah, it's very interesting. You put that babble because there is a key to the babble though. The babble in itself is actual magic. It's a curse. Yeah, and if you see the truth, you'll choose your words, which is why Andy is the way he is, and he professes to each and every word that man knows. He just simply wordsmiths it. That's why he's here. Well, I want to be like him. You want to be like him, but there's only him that is like him. That's why it's quite wow that he's just found us and come out and he can do what he can do. It's the common tongue, really, Babylon. It's the common tongue that the Phoenicians have ended up giving us when they mastered the alphabet and put it down to 26 letters, and then matched it up with the gematria and the alphanumerical linkages. I haven't even checked if I'm looking at the handset and reading the screen, but the actual phone is in my pocket, so it could have turned off or not even be working. All right, half two. Come on, we're wrapping up, wrapping it up. If everybody walked from a system that is tearing us apart, we'd be so happy. We've got ways, don't worry. We're slowly making the ways. We're restoring the trust back to man. Trust is the true currency. We're restoring faith and trust and love and resources, access, information, knowledge. A lot of stuff's happening that we don't know what's happening, but it's happening. So we're continuing on, and with the grace of God, the grace of the Creator, even we're going to get to where we're going. Some say it's planned, some say it's inevitable, some say it's destiny, some say it's luck. We're just plodding on to where we're going. If it's meant to be, it will be. If we manifest it, it will happen. We attract it. Never mind que sera, sera. It's not what will be, will be. No, not at all. We don't like what will be, so we're going to remix it and come back with a different ending. If God spoke this place into existence, perhaps, yes, 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 bang on. See what I mean? Look at that. And then you come out with a statement like that. If God spoke this place into existence, perhaps the energy and vibration of what we speak is more powerful, important than what we think. That is, I've never read such a more concise, accurate statement. That is a refreshing breeze to read. Not just blowing smoke up your arse there. That's bang on. Phonics, cymatics, K-C-Y-M-A-T-I-C-S, is it? Or K-Y-C, something like that. You know what I mean? Look on my channel and look for the videos called Ancient Knowledge. Look at video number 1 and off you go. Off you go. Yes, when you pray, praise, P-raise, you are praising, or P-raying, P-ray, praying, and yes, speaking, testamentary, water, rice water experiment, Dr. Masaru Emoto, the PDF messages from water will tell you exactly why that statement is right. Questionable, gent. Thank you very much. Thank you. But yeah, brother, obviously. If they get rid of cash, how could you buy drugs? Why would you want to buy drugs? You're not buying drugs now. What you're doing is giving a promise. You're saying you're going to promise to pay for drugs. So food, resources, drugs are alcohol and tobacco. I see what you're saying. Even sugar is classified as a drug, to be fair. So yeah, how would you get your daily drugs? Nicotine, tobacco, and sugar if you didn't have any money? Well, what you'd do is you would look at how we would grow it and resource it. You'd only have what your economy could provide locally. You won't be getting stuff shipped. You won't be getting your sugar shipped over. Look at it. We can't even manage a Brexit situation and so forth. So yeah, money promises to pay. There's no such thing as money, and you'd manage things locally. And if you couldn't get it locally, then you would manage without it, or you'd get an alternative. So instead of sugar, it would be honey, and you'd substitute it. So, and what you'd be doing there at Super Leads is a lot of substitution, and you'd be looking at locally grown, your economy, your resource base, your community, your solidarity there. Then, when you get your mate who's got a plane, a boat, anything like that, and you can start your local import business, then you get your import business up and running. You know what I mean? And you'll be the next Super Leads. Haulage Super Leads. You'd be like Stobart, but Super Leads. You would be the transport man, and we'd be using you. That's how it'd go. So it'd build up, but initially, it'd be an adjustment, wouldn't it? Yeah. Tesla, or if you want to know the secrets to the universe, all is vibration. The Egyptians, Arab Aborigines, many continents, civilizations, indigenous man, tribesman, nomadic man that we've killed off, by the way. They're vast slipping away. If you've noticed, we're killing all of the natural animals, trees, resources, indigenous man's tribes, and so forth, bombing them, killing them, and saving them from themselves in general. But they all believe that it was sung and brought into existence with music, singing. The Aborigines, it was with the singing, and the Egyptians with music and sound as well. I'm not getting into it all, but yeah, well done, Tesla. Frequency, um, the Kabbalion and the Hermetic principles, and the Thoth tablets and other tablets all point to very similar. So kudos to the chat room. I like what you said at Holly Breeze Menza. What's going on? My thoughts as well. Too much chat. I am to thank you, David, and all. Oh, thank you. No problem. It's what we do. It's what we do, sister. Super leads. Bang on. Don't underestimate yourself. You are a gift in the presence. We are all gifts in the moment, in the present, the past, the present, the future. They're all perceptual time dilations to us. What if there is just the now? The all is the now. We're in the now, and that's it. What we do now, the time is now. Actions, reactions, consequences, intent, law of attraction. It's very, very deep and dark. It has been hidden from us, and there is a few good men out there that can teach. And Sadhguru, wow, that man in himself is yeah, pure and simple. He's like the Indian version of Andy Sovereign Smith. Interesting times ahead. The calm before the storm. Yes, Mensa, there is a the world is a stage, lest we not forget. You are super after all. Yes, I fly. They are. We're all super, indeed. We're all gifts, shining stars. We are M.A. Mother. That's the mother, and stars. S.T.A.R.s. We are Mars stars in the realm of the tripart, mind, body, and soul. Thank you very much for joining such a long and random but productive hangout. It's gone nowhere where it should have. It's accomplished more than I expected, and it's been fun. So for that, we'll say thank you. Well done. We've made friends. Got some new subscribers up to speed. The family is expanding. We'll say peace, love, and light. Say good night to everybody. The Walton Styley, that's going to take another 3 hours, isn't it, to say goodbye one by one. So, yes, family, peace, love, respect, light. Patience is indeed a virtue. Be forever diligent. Use your intelligence. Be wary. Interesting times. Interesting and dangerous times. We've got corporations, parties disbanding, new parties forming, uncertainty, financial uncertainty, poverty, benefit fiasco. We've got the Vatican and the first ever summit held by the House of, Francis and the papals there of the see, the papacy. And yeah, it's very, 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 very crazy. Let's not get focused on the distractiveness of YouTube and the mud floods and the other bits that are going off. That's why I love this place, because there's always a channel for that subject. There is always a grand master of the tube realm that you can rely upon to go and get updated with. So, and the more of us that can network and link and utilize that, the better. It saves work all around. It is not copying, it's called working as a family. And we source and reference everybody. So, respect, Holly, Mensa, Fly. Who else have we got there? Super leads. We will pick up stuff tomorrow. Don't you worry. We will make it happen. Comment, I believe it never happened. Goodness me, there's so many of you. Shadow. Let me refresh on here as well. Let me on the screen and see. Those of you that have joined splspro.com, thank you very much. We have got a lot to do and we do need the help. We have got a place for everybody. We've got a lot of foundation key competence to get out of there. The feedback that we're getting and the verbiage and stuff is proper intense and excellent. Lev, there's the name that I forgot to say. John, Shadow, Ollie, Mensa, it never happened. Super leads, questionable gents. Now there was a new one. Let's get that in. Sister Holly, just once more again. Hope you're feeling loved and better. Fly on the wall. Let's go to the other chat, live chat as well. Let me just check what you're saying at the bottom. Respect to you, Mensa. Lisa, thank you. If you're watching on the playback, thank you, anonymous viewers. And we will be back soon with Kevin and Andy. I hope that I winged it well. Seem to have entertained you and kept it loosely threaded. So 20 to 3. Shit. Go. Good night. Thank you. Ciao, bello. Much love.